Welcome to the Book Buzz Show with Cheryl, where we dive into the captivating world of books. Here at the Book Buzz Show, we encourage you to make your pages turn with joy and immerse yourself in a magical literary experience. Enjoy the show.
Hello, and welcome to the Book Buzz Show. I'm your host, Cheryl Brooks. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. If you enjoy the upcoming show, please like, follow, and subscribe. Also, if you are new here, here at the Book Buzz Show, we do talk about the books and the characters, but we don't give anything too major away that would spoil your reading enjoyment. Also, please stick around for our second segment, where we do our highlights of the week, and be sure to have your pencil and paper, your pen and paper available so you can get some good book recommendations. All right, I'm excited about tonight's show. I really enjoyed this book, and this is this author's first time on the show, so I'm excited to talk to her about the book. And here it is on the screen for those watching. And that is With Love From Harlem by ReShonda Tate. And that is the book cover on the screen. And for those listening again later, that's With Love From Harlem by ReShonda Tate. All right, and without further ado, I'm going to bring on tonight's guest along with my co-host this evening, Katina Brown.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'm excited to talk to you about this. I really enjoyed it. Let me see. Looks like we have a few people in the audience. Hi, Myra. Thank you for joining us. Hey, Midnight. Thank you for joining us. Hello, everyone. This is a good one for everyone if you haven't read it already. This is a good one. All right, so we're going to get right into it. Before we do that, though, I have to congratulate you on the book getting USA Today. That's a big accomplishment.
Congratulations. Well deserved.
Yes. Wow. All right, so this story is about Hazel Scott. And I had heard of Hazel Scott, but I had no idea who she was until I read this story, and then I started just looking everywhere I could to find more information about her.
How do we not know about her? That was my question.
Right.
It's crazy how somebody that was at the height, at the top, and did so much as far as for our people that we, lost to history. That's crazy. But for those, and people are saying congratulations in the audience.
Yeah.
But for those who haven't read the book or don't know who Hazel is, can you give us a brief overview of the story and who Hazel Scott is?
Yeah, Hazel Scott was one of the most brilliant and groundbreaking entertainers of the 20th century. She was a glamorous star, a musical prodigy, and a political force who refused to perform for segregated audiences. And she refused to shrink herself for anyone, including her husband, Adam Clayton Powell Jr.
Yep. And especially for the time period that all this took place, where women didn't have any rights at all, couldn't even have anything in their name, really.
His special permission. Now, she made more money than him. She was at the top of her game, but she had to get special permission to have a bank account, because women weren't allowed to have bank accounts.
It's crazy. Now, had you already heard of her before you wrote her story?
I didn't know of her. I had only heard of her because Alicia Keys said she was inspired by her.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
That's all I did. Then when I was researching Hattie McDaniel for my book, The Queen of Sugar Hill, I came across her there. And that's when I became intrigued with her.
I love that. Now, what was it about her when you started looking into her that made you want to tell her story? And was she the only only option that you were looking at, or was it some others?
Well, there were a couple of options that I was looking at. But what I really liked about Hazel was she was the complete opposite of Hattie. So they both were extraordinary trailblazers whose legacy was complicated by the racial prejudices of America. But for Hattie, she decided to try and change the world through endurance, just figuring out how to go along to get along. And Hazel was the opposite. She wanted to change the world through defiance.
Right. Big difference. Yeah. Now I can imagine the type of research that it took. What all did you have to do as far as, were you able to find things on her easily?
Oh no, I mean, it actually took me a very long time. I spent 3.5 years researching, but that's because I would go down rabbit holes. I would find myself just engrossed in the research. But I spent the 3.5 years, I went through over 4,000 items, the Library of Congress, Schomburg, and she had an unpublished autobiography. And that's where I got a lot of the insight into her as a woman.
Was she mentioned a lot in Adam Clayton Powell's book?
Yes, his big book, King of Cats. I read that, and he talked about her a lot. I also read Isabel Powell's autobiography, her memoir, and that was Adam's first wife. And she talked. I read.
Oh, really? Okay, I can imagine though.
Yeah, she talked about it. So that's why, after I read her stuff, I'm like, well, let me go try and figure out what Hazel got.
True. Erica is saying she's looking forward to reading it, and she recently saw the documentary. I did too. I recently watched the documentary after I started reading this book. I went and looked for the documentary, and that was a good addition to what I was reading. Now, what surprised you most when you started researching her, if anything?
Yeah, there were quite a few things that surprised me. Two things, especially her stubbornness and the sheer scale of her brilliance. So she was principled to a degree that almost feels impossible today. One of the most jaw-dropping moments in my research was learning that only 23 years old, she walked off a Hollywood set for 3 days because they wanted Black women dressed in dirty costumes. She refused to be humiliated, even if it meant shutting production down. Now, mind you, she was dressed nice. She was playing herself, but she knew those other women didn't have a voice. So she had to be their voice. And you don't see a lot of 23-year-old women taking that on. And she got blackballed in Hollywood because of it, but eventually they changed the costumes to floral dresses. And that was
and I actually went and looked at that clip when I was reading about it. And so I saw that. But I said the same thing. For her to be so young and to have that, what is it, social consciousness at her age. I don't know if it was just, I think it was her makeup, but was it also the time? So you think that people were just more aware back then and more willing to step up?
I think that she had always been very vocal. She had always been talented. And she just never settled, because there were a lot of people that just acquiesced. The fight, the power really didn't come until the 60s. A lot of people in this era, they were like, I'm not going to burn these bridges. I'm the highest paid Black woman in Hollywood. I'm not going to burn. She could have easily taken that route, and she didn't.
Right. Which is what a lot of people were around her were telling her, including Adam, even though he had his own issues.
That was a whole nother story.
Right. Myra is asking, where can she find the documentary? Myra is on PBS Passport. You actually have to have Passport to actually watch it. It's called The Disappearance of Miss Scott, and it's very, very good. Let me see. Oh, Midnight is saying she loved that singing in the book. And Lamart's Brown. Oh, you said you were so proud of her. Yes. I felt for her. I was like afraid for her though, because
it was a little
how much she put herself out there. Yeah. But I love that she was strong enough to do that. And I think too, her mother had a lot to play in that too.
Yeah, and I didn't really get into her father in the book, but both of them were strong. Now, when he came to New York, he was very disenchanted, so he kind of disappeared from her life because he came to America thinking life would be better because he had like 2 PhDs, highly intelligent, and he couldn't even get a job as a trash man. So it really affected his mentality.
Right, right.
As I'm sure a lot of Black men back then.
Yeah, yeah.
What was your biggest challenge in writing the book?
Oh my goodness, it was walking away from the research. At one point, my Mr. Murray was like, "Can you stop researching the book and go write the book?" I'm a journalist by trade, and I would go down a rabbit hole, and then I got to discover something else. And so, for example, in her autobiography, it probably never got published because she tried to sanitize it. She kept it very, very nice.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
But so she talked about her love for this young man in Paris. So she never named him. But she talked about him so passionately that I went on a quest to find this young man in Paris. And when I found out who he was, I was like, oh my goodness.
Yes, when I read that, I was like shocked.
Yeah.
I was shocked. And for those in the audience, this is a picture, one of the pictures of Hazel Scott at the piano. She was a child prodigy, so her playing I was looking at I think it was during the documentary, and they had another pianist on there, and he was saying how difficult even him trying to mimic what she was doing, how difficult her playing was, and that your brain had to be wired a certain way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because so think about trying to play some Beethoven over here, and then you want to put some jazz over it. It was I would just give up.
I saw on your I think on your page while you've been doing your tour. How was it when you went to their church?
So it was great. They were wonderful. So when I first got the invitation and they said it was going to be at Abyssinian, I was like, "Uh-oh, have they read the book yet?" Adam, everybody knew about Adam. It was a double-edged sword. He was so good for Harlem, so good for the community. But one of the things a lot of the people from the church said is that the book let them know things that they didn't know. So it was very eye-opening for them as well.
Midnight is asking, do you think you will ever write from Adam's point of view?
Oh, I didn't care from Adam. I can words that ain't nice. I could write from Adam's point of view. I don't think that I would because I don't want to write a whole book mad.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. Okay, so we're going to get into the book and the characters a bit. Okay, so I mentioned that she was a child prodigy. When I found out how young she was playing, that amazed me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because then she started like 3 or 4 years old or something like that.
Yes, she just sat down and started playing. And her grandmother was calling all the neighbors, having everybody come see her all the time because everybody was mesmerized by it. She could just play. She could hear something one time and then play it. And so that's why at age 8, she was accepted into Juilliard. But they didn't know what to do with an 8-year-old.
Right.
But yeah, she's been extremely talented.
And you know what I thought was funny about when she first went to Juilliard, and because she was so little, she couldn't do one of the compositions, so she rearranged it. And and just the thought that this little girl could even think to do that, and it tells you too how confident, how bold she is.
Right.
How bold she was, yeah. But I thought that was funny. I said, and I think they said, so I don't know if it was in your book or if it was the documentary, but they were saying that one of the professors or the teachers came in and like, who is rearranging? Who is doing that? Right.
He's the one that said, okay, we can't do anything with an 8-year-old, but you got to let me work with this girl because she's a prodigy.
Right. Because her mother also was a pianist, right? And she
Yes,
taught her. Okay.
she did, but her mother had carpal tunnel, so she had to come back, and just to get to teaching. She couldn't play like she wanted to.
Okay. Katina, what stood out to you, or did you have any questions for ReShonda as far as the book?
So many. So many. One of the things that stood out for me was her and Billy's relationship that I loved. And I know that a lot of people discouraged that the support that Hazel had for Billy. But I thought it was amazing, that she never gave up on her through everything.
Right. And it was vice versa too, because if you remember, Billy is the one who stepped down so Hazel could have her spot.
She did. She did.
And you don't see a lot of that with women who build, lift the other one up.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of my most favorite things about this book, because we know the tragic Billie Holiday.
Right.
We know her sad story. So it was refreshing to me to show this other side, to show the sister Billie Holiday.
Yeah.
The Billie Holiday that tells her about the man that she's dating is trifling. Meanwhile, she
got right.
I love Billie.
Yes, that was probably one of my favorite things about reading her story is the friendships. Now, Josephine, I noticed they didn't depict her in the documentary, but she was an integral part too in her life.
She was. And so what I wanted, the reason that I brought Josephine in, because a part of the theme with Love from Harlem is dreams, when you put your dreams on the back burner. Josephine was showing what happens when you lose yourself, when you put your own dreams on the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened to her, basically.
Yeah.
Lamar's is asking, did you get a chance to talk to Hazel's son when you were doing your research?
So, a lot of people ask me that because he is still alive. I did not, because when you're doing historical fiction, you don't want to talk to family members, because it's like me coming to you, Cheryl, saying, I'm going to write a book about your mama and I'm going to make some stuff up.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
You want to keep that line separate. I like to think that I did her justice, because everything that she goes through in this book, all the foundation are things that really happened. So I didn't create anything that I feel like her son would be upset about, because this is also in her own autobiography, which he donated to the library, and things that are public knowledge.
Right.
Okay.
They're telling me we have an echo. Let me see if I can go in here. Let's see. I don't know why it started all of a sudden.
I don't know.
Let me try putting on headphones and see if that helps too.
That did help last time, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay, hopefully that
it's going.
Okay. Lamarsa saying, I love how you wrote Billy. It made me look at her differently. Yeah.
It did.
Oh, they're saying they don't hear it anymore. Okay, good. All right. So I want to get into her activism, and I love how she used her performances as a form of activism. How she, like you said, she wouldn't play if the audience was segregated. And then I noticed too in one of her songs that she played, the lyrics went towards her activism as well.
Yeah, I really love that about her, that she used that art as activism. She knew that she had a platform and that she could speak out when other people couldn't. And so she made sure that she did that. Now, again, think about this time. This is the 1940s, and you got this Black woman walking up to these white producers saying, "This audience is not integrated, so I'm not performing," even though it's in her. It's like, you have lost your mind.
Right. And I think it had to do too with her because she was so talented. Because I wonder would anybody else have been able to do that?
No, because they could have told anybody else hit the door. Don't let the door hit.
And the fact that what happened when she was on the movie set at Columbia Pictures, and when she wouldn't go on and she was holding up production, because she got blacklisted then too, didn't she? Where they said that she couldn't do another movie.
Yep, and he told her she couldn't do any more.
Because I think I don't know if she ended up getting one later on, years later, but I know it affected her then.
Right.
And she still stood her ground. So that tells you the type of character, her how her makeup. Okay, now her her relationship with Adam Clayton Powell.
Yes.
Okay, so we got two celebrities, two well-known personalities, and two big personalities getting together. How old was she when she got with him, and how old was he? Because she looked young when I was looking at pictures.
So she was 22, and so when she got with him, he was married. I did not like Hazel, and when I discovered that, because I'm married, I feel about the side chick thing, but I had already spent the advance money, so I had to figure out how to like.
I'm gonna have to wrap my head around it.
Let me figure out how me and Hazel can get along. I remembered Hazel was 22, and I did things at 22 that I'm not exactly proud of.
Right.
And so you have this charismatic, 6'4", powerful, determined man who wants you. She denied him in the beginning, but he pursued her relentlessly. And she finally you can see there, she fell under his spell.
Right, look how she's looking at him.
I know.
When I first saw this picture, I'm like, oh my goodness, look how she's looking at him.
I kind of condensed his pursuit of her, but he went all out. Imagine a 22-year-old and this man is doing. He's like, I'm not happy at home. I want you, and that's what he did until she gave in.
And I know that, but because every time when I looked at his biography, they were talking about how charismatic he was, and he had this big personality, and then with him in the pulpit and stuff. So I'm sure she was drawn to that too, his magnetism. And like you said about her being young, and then they had in common the activism part of it.
For sure.
Right.
But man, I love this picture though, because it tells a lot.
It tells a lot. Lots. It does.
Yes. Now, do you think? Okay, so in some instances, Adam, he supported her in her still, performing and stuff, but sometimes he didn't. So I'm thinking that he supported as long as it didn't interfere with what he had going on. Exactly. And he never wanted her to outshine him.
Yeah, so his magnetism was real. That's what attracted Hazel. But with that magnetism came ego. He was used to being the brightest light in the room. Right. The problem was Hazel was a star too. So it wasn't just a marriage, it was a clash of two suns. And so what happens when you have these two stars shining bright, one of them is bound to dim. And in this case, and in so many cases with a man and a woman, it becomes the woman. Right. And Hazel dimmed her light so that his could shine brighter.
And when she did it, it goes so much against her nature for the most part, because in other instances, she still stood her ground and was like, this is going to happen. But she did have guilt behind it when she put herself first.
Yeah, especially when you dim in your light and he's still out in the streets. Come on.
Right. Like, why am I doing this?
Right.
And then when she became a mother, I think it was, it made it even worse. Because
it got worse.
There. And
I think he said something to the effect of, no one is ever going to call me Mr. Hazel Scott.
Yeah. Right. And she said that in one of the interviews she gave later on when she got back from Paris. That basically he said he wanted to be a congressman first before he even married her.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells you a lot right there too. Now, as far as her when she went to Paris, and she stayed for what, 7 years?
7 years, was it?
Yeah. So I had to condense the Paris time because she did it. She went twice, and the first time Adam went with her. They traveled. They did a whole lot of traveling all around. That would have, to include all of that, the book would have been 700 pages.
Right,
and my editor was like, "You are Barack Obama. You can't write 700." But and so I condensed it and just focused on the second time she went to Paris, because that's when she reclaimed herself, when she chose herself, and the balance of everything shifted.
Right. Even though her and Adam kept going back to each other, they didn't completely let each other go, even though they were leading separate lives. And then too, when she finally started like getting herself in, she was thinking about herself. Here he comes. Yeah. Let's give it another try.
After he done ran through New York. Yeah.
All of New York.
Oh my goodness. I'm like, but I could relate so much. And I think a lot of women probably can too. When you still love someone, but you know that they're not good for you, and it's hard to step away. So I understood, the back and forth a little bit. But as soon as he popped up, I'm like, okay, here he goes.
But how many women done went back for less?
True. That is and what I thought was interesting too, and I saw this on his biography that I was watching, and you wrote about it, I believe, when he was in Congress and they wouldn't let him eat in the dining room.
Yeah.
So he decides that he's going to bring Hazel and other people with him.
Yeah.
But when I was looking at his documentary, one of the guys that he brought with him, and I can't think of his name, he said that he understood what he was doing, but he said that was part of Adam's personality, where he used people as pawns. So he felt like he was a pawn in his cause, in his crusade, basically. Mm-hmm. And I know Hazel felt like that too, because she thought she was there.
Yeah, it was a little date.
Right. So I thought that was interesting, and that tells a lot about who he was. Yeah. He wasn't just doing it with her; he was doing it with everybody around him.
Because if you think of the other piece of that too, when he was in Congress and he moved his secretary to the house.
I forgot about that part. And then when she comes in and you see the secretary is living in the house.
You think she about to go out the door and she go down the hall?
Right. I can't even imagine. I was like, oh my goodness. Oh yeah, she put up with a lot in that marriage, man, and that's probably just not even the tip of the iceberg.
I mean, there's so much that was left on the cutting room floor.
Oh
she
man,
in her marriage,
it's crazy. Now when she came back from Paris, things had changed. And what was it, the 60s then, by the time she came back?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then music was changing. Right. And she, her style of music wasn't in demand anymore.
Right? Yeah.
So that had to be a big slap in the face of everything that she, from where she came from.
It was really hard for her because her friends, she came back, and so now she's struggling. Her friends took up a collection for her, and she was mortified. She was like, I don't want anybody to take up a collection for me.
Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. I didn't know she was that broke. I didn't know it had got that bad. Because I thought she was still performing when she was in Paris.
She was, but remember, think about it. So she's coming back and it's just not as much. Everything has tapered off. And so now you have to move back home. You have the tax issues. She actually did, they were majority Adams. But so she didn't get a whole lot of money, and she's coming back trying to rebuild everything.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. And then too, and I want to skip over this because this was important. Her being the first black, not just black woman, but black person to have her own TV show. Because I always thought it was Nat King Cole until I read this book.
Right.
So just that kind of accomplishment for a black woman in what was that, the 40s or the 50s, where she got the
50s. And think about this. One of the things people are like, oh, that may not seem like a big deal, but think about all the white people sitting at home. All they've ever seen are slaves, mammy characters.
Right.
They didn't see beautiful black women. So you have this beautiful, talented black woman coming into your living room every night. That was monumental in that time.
Yeah, I can imagine. Even today, especially back in not that long ago, 70s, 80s. It wasn't until the 90s that we started seeing like positive images of black people on TV. Which Erica said, I was trying to wait to pick up the physical copy, but I couldn't. She said she just bought the ebook. I know that's right. You can do both. Read it, and then you have your copy for your collection. And then too, the 50s. That's where they had the big thing, the McCarthyism.
Yeah.
So they put her on the list as being a communist right when she gets her show.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, that the sponsors and stuff started dropping out, and it affects her show. I felt so bad for her.
And think about this. Adam was much more vocal and causing ruckus than she was, but she was a woman, and she didn't know a woman's place. And so Adam tried to tell her they don't go before these men, but she was headstrong. And everything that the transcript that she says in the book, she said all of that to them in reality. And so they could appreciate that. Everything she gave them a piece of her mind. Intelligent.
Mm-hmm. Now that's what I wanted to ask you too. Do you think that things would have turned out differently if she hadn't gone and testified at the hearing?
I do. And so again, Hattie McDaniel was also labeled a communist, but Hattie made friends. She made friends with one of the white ladies and became her buddy friend. And the woman had her removed from the list. And and that's what I mean by Hattie's was like, let me have a seat at the table so I can bring about change. And so it was the exact opposite.
So they just went about things differently, but they, and I love the book too with Hattie McDaniel. I read that one as well. Mm-hmm. I was always curious about her too, because you heard a lot of the backlash that she used to get.
Right.
Let me see. Lamar's is asking, will you be in the Philly area anytime soon?
I don't have anything set yet, but I've had a couple of requests to come. So hopefully we can make that happen.
So be on the lookout, Lamar's.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. Because he put this in my group. He said this was his first, your book was his first historical fiction.
Mm-hmm.
And he's hooked now.
A good one.
Yep, that was a good one to start. With your first one. But yeah, you did an amazing job. I read a lot of historical fiction, and it was definitely a page turner. And just I love that you brought Hazel Scott's story to people who didn't know about her.
I've shocked a lot of people. I get a whole lot of I've never even heard of her. Mm-hmm. And so I love that. And because then that's usually followed by, but I Googled her all night long.
Right. I told you I went down the rabbit hole. I started looking at everything. Her clips of her performances with her with the two pianos and her on the movie sets, all of it. The one where she did with Mae West. I was looking at all of it. I even looked at an interview that her son did years ago, where he was talking about her. Yeah, so you did send me down the rabbit hole. Now, is there anyone as far as anyone in history that you're looking at now that you want to write about next?
Yeah, so my next book actually is not about a particular person. It is about bootlegging and prohibition, because one of the things I found in my research is that women, particularly Black women, were a strong part of moonshine in the bootleg industry. They built a lucrative network to take care of their family because the judges and the police dismissed it. So I came across this woman and she was running a bootleg ring, and she got in court, and the judge was like, I'm throwing this case out because she's innocent, because she's not smart enough to run a bootlegging ring. And she was like, you sure right, boss.
Right. Keep thinking that, right?
Right on out there and kept making thousands of dollars. And so about their collective effort. There are some other women that I want to explore. I just got to get the public on board with it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep a lookout. I'm interested in whatever you put out, because I really, really enjoyed this. I'm looking at my notes, and I was looking at because we were talking about Adam and how he could be like two different people, which was why he kept drawing her back in. And I was saying that it was a meaningful and thoughtful gift when he gave her that rare first edition.
Yeah.
Of the music publication.
Yeah. And so she was listening, because she just mentioned that in passing on an early date. But that's the kind of stuff that gets you,
That's true.
Yep. And I had apprehensions about covering his flaws. Culturally, we don't always give ourselves permission to tell the truth about our heroes. I think about how I was raised, especially by my mother. In Black households, there's often this instinct to protect our icons. It's like, don't you? My mother used to always say, "Don't you dare talk bad about Barack Obama or Tyler Perry."
Yeah.
And I think because we've had so few people celebrated on that level, we feel like we have to guard them. But the truth is, Hazel and Adam were just human beings. They were brilliant, visionary, and deeply flawed. And I realized that if I sanitize them, I'd be doing exactly what history already does, flattening Black people into symbols instead of just allowing them to be fully human.
That's true. Lamar says he can't wait to read. What you were talking about the bootlegging. Yeah, that does sound interesting. All right. Well, we are at our time, and I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. Again, I really, really enjoyed it. Katina, did you have anything else before we let ReShonda go? I know she's busy touring.
Yeah, I'm heading to the Library of Congress in the morning.
Oh my goodness. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Such an education. Brought out all the feels, the anger and the sympathy, the empathy, I guess, with her going through the I guess when she was turned down for roles, and you kind of felt that every time she was dismissed or like they changed their mind about you type of thing. And it just, as women, we still deal with that today because of who we are. And but I just enjoyed it thoroughly.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you, ladies, so much for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And when your next one comes out, I hope you come back.
Definitely. Y'all have a good night.
You too. Yeah. All right. We're going to get into our second segment with our highlights of the week. And yes, everybody, I see everybody said they just got their copy, they ordered their copies. You would definitely love this. This was really, really good read. And we all should be, learning about Hazel Scott. She was, dynamic, especially for the time that she lived in, where women were seen and not heard.
And I had to keep reminding myself, like you said, of how old she was.
Yeah, and she was young when she first started.
Because of the things she was doing, it was like, wait a minute, how old is she again? Because it was so ahead of her time,
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Because I think when I was looking at the documentary and they were saying, about the 60s and the civil rights movement, she was, she started it. She was ahead of her time back in the 40s. Yep. So you all cannot go wrong with getting this book. And then check out the documentary too. That's a really good documentary. Hers and Adam's, actually. Oh man.
So
just for the stuff that he did in Harlem, because His womanizing man was something else.
And like you said, it did give a little confusing feel about his support, because
Right.
it came off as support, but on the backside of it,
Right.
was it? Because
Right. You have to think, like, was this calculated? Because he had that kind of personality where, was this sincere, or was he doing this to, just pacify or win favor, or, you
right.
never know.
It felt like it wasn't real for me.
Oh, really? Okay.
Right. And I know, and but it did at the same time, because when he gave her the gift,
Mm-hmm.
it was like, oh, well, maybe he does support her. and I don't know.
I think he supported her as long as if it was in line with what he didn't want it to outshine him.
Yeah.
Or if she did get like some recognition, to me it felt like he thought about it in terms of how it's going to boost his standing.
It's like the kids, the siblings, and one of them has a birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that's not their birthday, they're like, what about me?
Right.
And it's like, we're not talking about you.
Right. And she had to tell him that a few times. It was her event, and then he would just take over.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, but I'm glad that we now know her name and know all that she accomplished. And I said I'm gonna read the biography too that's on her.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna get into our highlights for the week. Katina, you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I will go first.
All
Mine
right.
is not
okay. I love these covers. I love these covers, and I told you, I'm like, okay, you ain't tell me about these.
Some cowboys. And cowboys. Cowboys and cowgirls. I don't know. These were two that I got when the Bray event.
Oh, did you? Okay.
So I I grabbed 1 and 2. I do believe there may be more.
Okay.
But book 1 is I think there are 4 brothers. Akil. I say Akil. I don't know how to pronounce it. But this is the Armstrong Brothers Sable Ridge series by Shelley P. Street Keys.
Okay.
And just to give a synopsis with this beautiful book cover, book 1 is, I read both books. Book 1 is the synopsis is in the picturesque town of Dasher. The heir is charged with grief as Akil, the oldest brother, faces the heartbreaking loss of his father, the patriarch of the Armstrong family. With their ancestral land at stake, the brothers must confront the devastating consequences of a bad deal made by their father, which now threatens to strip them of their heritage. As Akil navigates his sorrow, he uncovers buried family secrets that reveal the true nature of the deal and the adversaries lurking in the shadows, eager to take advantage of their vulnerability. Determined to save their family legacy, Akil rallies his younger brothers for a journey that will test their bond, and reveal the strength of their unity. And book 2 is just a continuation of that.
Okay, bring that one on the screen. Let me see.
And that is the other brother, Asanta, and he is become like the sheriff of the town, and the men that they were able to almost take down in the first book, he comes in the second book and kind of finishes the deal and trying to get, so there's a lot of the father that they are grieving made a lot of bad deals. He wasn't very faithful. I'm gonna just say that. And his mom knew, but I love this about this because the sons, her 4 sons, were always so angry with her because they just couldn't believe that she was still staying with this man, knowing that he was going in town to the little, I guess they didn't call them brothels, they call it something, he went to, be with other women, and everybody in town knew. However, they were just so puzzled, like, why is she sticking with this man? And what they came to find out was that she was just trying to make sure that they got their inheritance in the land. She was making sure that, she changed over the deeds and things because he drank, and he was doing a lot of things
right
that's gonna like damage their legacy. So mom was working in the backside to make sure that they got what they deserved. When the white men came along and tried to take the land and all these kind of things, falsifying documents, taking people's stores and property. So this family, these brothers working together to not only, redeem their own land, but to also help the town as well. A lot of the businesses that these white men basically stole from people. So you get a lot of, there's some deep brotherhood and support in there. Mama is a mama. She loves her sons, but she also tells them when they gone left, which I love about them. And they're good, wholesome, hardworking Black men, cowboys. And they're short reads. Because the first book is only 130 pages.
Oh, okay, they are okay.
And the second one is like a little over 100 pages. So
I have them on my list. Just the cover alone.
Yeah,
had me when you sent me. I said I'm gonna have to read this just from the covers alone.
But it's good stuff. It really is. And we've only gotten to the first two brothers. I'm pretty sure there's more to come. Okay. But they're definitely. I read it. I think I read both of them in one day. I think. I don't know. But it was quite enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Has anybody in the audience read these? Did you get these off of Bray as well? Let us know. I did. All right, and mine this week is let me bring it on. One that I really this is a series. This is actually book 5 in the series, and it's one of my favorites of the series. So I said, let me do this one. And it is Only You, book 5 in the Grayson's novel series by Francis Ray. And Only You is about the younger sister. Let me just read the synopsis. Oh, let me tell you before. It was published in 2007. And I believe that's when I read it, 2007. And it's 356 pages. Okay, the synopsis is Sierra Grayson is next in line for love. If her 4 older brothers manage to get married off, surely Sierra can't be far behind. At least that's the outcome her matchmaking mother, Ruth, is hoping for. Whether Sierra is smart, too sexy for her own good, and stubborn to a fault, wants it or not. But little does Ruth know what else fate has in store. After a chance meeting billionaire real estate mogul Blade Navarone wins Sierra at an auction, both are stunned by the intense sexual attraction and fight it for different reasons. A legend in the industry, Blade is known to be ruthless and relentless. A cruel twist of fate taught him to be no other way. But can Sierra trust him to treat her as more than just another acquisition? And if Blade does allow himself to care for her, will Sierra herself be willing to give up her hard-won independence and make a lifelong investment? Or has a mother's luck run its course? And like I said, this was probably one of my favorites of the books with her and her brothers. And Sierra is the youngest and she's the only girl, so she's spoiled. But she's also very, very intelligent and headstrong. She's self-confident. She knows her worth. Yes, Jennifer, you is one of your favorites too. And we have a few people saying yes, they love this book. Francis Ray is a great author. Yes, I agree. And I love Navarone too because he's that brooding male main character, and he's another one. He's very successful, very strategic, and he keeps Sierra on her toes because he's not somebody that she is going to be able to push around, basically. And then two, the siblings are the siblings are biracial. They're Black and Native American. Their mother is Native American and their father was Black. And Navarone is Native American. Let me see. The book itself is a great love story, which is all, all of the stories are. Each story is a sibling and their love interest. So this one is Sierra's story. And we also get suspense in the stories, as in all of the series. And then what I love too, as you all know, I love a strong family. So we get that throughout the series. We also get strong friendships which I also love in the series. And actually the friends get spinoff stories. They all have their own stories as well. It's funny too, because we get a little levity because the mother is like the meddling mother, and she tries to matchmake for her children, and all the siblings, they try to outsmart their mother, thinking that they're outsmarting her, but behind the scenes she's making moves that they don't even know about.
Oh, I love it.
And before you know it, it's too late, and they already have fallen for the person that she wanted them with in the first place.
Okay.
By the time they catch on, it's too late. And like I said, it brings a lot of levity to the story as well, because the mother, she has ideas of who she wants paired with each child. So she makes moves behind the scenes to make stuff happen.
Is it, and I'm assuming there are others that she doesn't like, and she tries to get them out of the way, or is that kind of played?
Yeah, I think, and especially in one of her sons. Yeah, that was the case. Yeah. But yeah, very, very good series.
Okay.
You will not be disappointed. Yes, Myra, you have to check it out. If you haven't read the Graysons series by Frances Ray, you will love it. Great love stories, and like I said, you're gonna get a lot of family and a lot of friendships in it as well, along with the meddling mama. Yes, Erica, Mama Ruth was. Yeah, Mama Ruth was the best. She was something. She was fun. And they just kept thinking that they were like it's not gonna happen to me, because it happened when it happened with the oldest brother.
Yeah.
Each child after that was like, it's not gonna happen to me. But she had other thoughts. But yeah, it's one of my favorites. I've read it so many times, but I haven't read it in years. But I read it multiple times. I just love the series, and other series by Frances Ray as well. And like I said, the friends, they were an integral part of the story too. So they all got their own stories.
So it's a rabbit hole that you end up going down.
Yes. Yes, she was a mailer in the best way. She was right. She was in the best way. It wasn't like
like the other mama reads that we've been coming up again.
Right. Yeah, she was a loving mother, and she loved her kids. So
how many kids is it?
In the first set is 5 books.
Okay.
Because it's 5 siblings, but then I can't remember how many Friends books it is. I want to say it's like 4 Friends books.
Because is it called Grace and Friends?
Yeah. No, you see it.
Because the Friends group is 11. Is it
11?
If I'm looking at this thing, yes.
Oh, man, let me look. I have to see.
I'm sorry.
Was it 11, Erica?
Is it 11?
Because there was other spinoffs too, like with the Falcon and all of them. All of them know each other.
Maybe I get the wrong way.
Right, like Erica's just saying, the Falcon series and Tiger. Yep, they all know each other. And those were first. You're right, Erica. Yep.
Okay, that sounds better.
But yeah, so it might have. I didn't remember it being the Friends series being 11 books, but
Well, the Taggarts is 4. The Taggart brothers is 4.
okay, yeah. So if including those, okay.
Yeah. But you do these first. You read these
Right, because
this
right,
starts the Grayson
right, because Falcon is gonna be in their books too.
okay.
Very, very good though. You won't be disappointed.
See, she said yes, this year 11.
It was a few siblings and parents thrown in there. Yeah. And and they said truly me Ty is saying yes to Taggarts. I hope I'm saying your handle right. But
so which one is first, the Taggarts or the Grayson friends?
I'm trying to remember. I remember reading Falcon. I thought I read Falcon first, but I don't remember if that was the first one though.
Mm-hmm.
Erica, you remember which one came first? Was it Falcon's book that came first or the Taggarts?
Let's see. This is when it's published, I guess.
Yeah, probably can go by that.
Go by the publishing. And they're like 300 and some odd pages each. Okay. So the Falcons. Okay, so the Falcons and the Taggarts are first. Okay.
Yeah, the Graysons were cousins of Daniel and Dominique Falcon. And the Falcons and Taggarts were first.
Okay.
But yeah, you'll love it, Katina. That's still one of my favorite series, family series. All right. Thank you all for coming out on this. We're airing on a different day other than our Monday show. So I appreciate everybody coming out. And I hope you all enjoyed the show. And be sure to check out With Love from Harlem. Believe me, you are going to love it, love it. And you're probably gonna be like me, going looking for the documentaries and all the clips and stuff you can find on Hazel Scott. But yes, it was she did an excellent job. You would not be disappointed. And Erica, I'm getting my print copy. I don't have it yet. I'm ordering it today. I was trying to wait. I was gonna go to the bookstore, but I'm like, I might as well just go ahead and order it.
Oh yeah. That's true. I could do the bookstore, but I don't know.
It is more convenient just to order it. Yeah.
It is.
So I will be back on Monday, me and Jennifer talking with Maya. So I hope you all can join in there at Monday at 8 p.m.
What's the
all right,
book
everyone.
for
Have
Monday?
a great evening. You said
what's
what?
The book for Monday?
The book for Monday is let me check.
People know.
The book for Monday is Burden of Love by Maya.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening and see you next time. Good night.